Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Today we are setting up my new history rooted workbook and my new command center workbook. And I'm gonna talk through what both of these are while I'm setting them up, and just talk through the goals of these workbooks. Before I dive in, let me just say to you as a quick reminder, the reason I'm doing these notebooks is that I am making some changes to my planning system because of an opportunity I got with History Rooted. I've done a video talking about that, so you can definitely check that video out. I'll try to link it to this video in the description or at the end of this video somewhere if I can figure out how to do that. But I talked about how I had an unexpected opportunity and it was going to change how I planned. And so I mentioned having a history rooted genealogy setup book or focused workbook to take me through the next 3 months. And I think I may even have shown you this planner. It may have had a different cover because I have since changed covers, but I'm going to use an Erin Condren monthly planner for that. And then also I am having a Life Hub life planner, command center type planner that is really going to be focused on my emotional and all my well-being self-care activities, just a really hyper focus on that for the next 3 months. And I am using a monthly planner for that as well. I thought I was going to use an Erin Condren notebook, but I'm going to use a monthly planner. And again, I changed out the covers. I just used my cover from my vision book because I think it went better with this planner than what the cover that came with it. I ordered mine from Amazon, so I didn't customize any covers. I just had to go with the covers that it came with. And so I just kind of rearranged them so that they made more sense. But that is what these workbooks are for. Now, in that other video, I also told you that I am not going to be filming my planning in these videos, and I'm not. But I did want to film the setup of the workbooks just in case you're interested in doing something similar, and you can see how I'm going to set up these monthly planners to work for me for these two tasks. Hopefully it'll work for me. We will see. So we're going to do that setup today and just talk a little bit more about my goals with this, what I'm hoping to accomplish. I am going to keep both workbooks together in my vegan leather folio. And so I'm excited about that. But okay, we are going to set up the genealogy planner first. And I will say I'm a little bit behind because I want to start this program in March. And so I'm about a week behind. I've had a lot going on. I'm not trying to make excuses for it because I do need to focus on this history rooted. That's a part of the problem, is always making excuses for not doing it. But you got to get your stuff set up. And I'm someone who needs to be organized before I can get stuff done. I have to have the planning and organization in place. That's just how I am. And so it's been a little bit longer than a week, but I need to get it done. It's the end of the first week, and if I'm going to do this in March or start this in March, I need to get this planner set up. So we're going to do that first. And again, I'm just going to set up the planner today. I'm not going to do any planning in it because the planning is going to be off camera, and that's just something that I have to do personally. But I did want to share the setup. I printed out for both of these workbooks headers and labels that I will use in the planner. So let's start with the genealogy. So the first thing I'm going to do is label my name page. I decided to call this planner my History Rooted 101 Test Lab Workbook. And I will talk to you about why that is when I put this on. But I want to first show you the labels. So I printed labels for my annual pages, the next 3 months. But the pages in the front of my planner. And then I printed section headers for those pages. And then yeah, right here. And then I also printed labels for the monthly pages, okay? And I also printed icons for the monthly pages. So that's what you're going to see me setting up. Okay, so History Rooted 101 Test Lab Workbook. Unfortunately, these did not print all together. That's my fault, because I am horrible at, not horrible, I'm actually really good at using my Cricut, but I've been struggling with the new Cricut system, so it's been a little bit of a struggle. So I need to put these on my ruler to make sure I put these down straight, because I really do want these to be straight. As I do this, I want to say to you, I am using this test lab language and approach because I really wanted to use I wanted to go with a theme of like doing lab work, right? Like if you remember back from college and we all had to take like say biology 101 or physics 101 or whatever, and you know you had to have the physics lecture course, and then you also had to have the lab course, right? So we all had a lab course in college, and as part of the lab course you had a lab workbook, and that lab workbook listed all your experiments and your results and your conclusions. Like that is kind of like the approach that the theme that I wanted to take with this genealogy kind of redo. So this HR seems a little bit off. So that's why I've labeled this planner HR 101. So like for History Rooted 101, and then as a test lab workbook. Because my goal, okay, that's still going to be off. My goal with this planner workbook is to, okay, so I'm going to put workbook at the bottom because workbook is too long to fit on here. So my general goal then is to use the next few months, just kind of work this off. History Rooted. Come on, let's make this work. I'm usually not so particular about this, you guys. So let's see if I can get this on here without. Yeah, I'm usually not so fussy with this. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Had to stop talking to focus on this real quick. Okay, it's not horrible. It's not going to look the best, but it's not going to look horrible either. Okay. Okay, halfway decent. Now I'm going to put the workbook at the bottom. Please don't tear. Please don't tear. So, let's see. Let's do this one. So anyway, yeah, the purpose of this workbook is to, you know, do some very focused work on my genealogy business and spend the next 3 months to see if it makes sense to continue with this business, to continue putting money into it. You know, I have, like I said, I have this opportunity, and honestly, if I can't make it work with this opportunity that I have that's coming up, then, which is related to my consulting workshop side of it, if I can't make it work with this opportunity that's coming up, I need to quit putting money into it. So I need to like really focus for the next 3 months. And so it's kind of a test lab situation. And that's why I came up with this theme. I really like that. I chose the font to be kind of, you know, kind of wonky typewriter. It should be straight, but it's not. But kind of wonky typewriter font. So it kind of gives you that old school college test lab vibe, hopefully. That's what I hope to have accomplished here. So I think it looks good. I like it. Okay, so these are my annual pages. I'm just going to use these for monthly milestones. And then I got this idea. I have to give credit where credit is due. I am going to tear out my January pages. So let me move my notes to March, because I am going to tear out my January and February pages and use those pages as notes pages in the front of my planner. And I got that idea from, I don't know how to say her name, but Kristen Kramer. I know I'm mispronouncing her name, but she did the same in her monthly. And I thought that was a great idea. Now, she uses her monthly a lot different than I'm using mine. So, I'm not setting it up the way she sets up hers, because she uses hers, I think, as her regular planner. And I'm not using mine as my regular planner. I'm just using it for, I prefer to use a disc bound planner for my regular planner. And that's not going to change for me. So, I don't need to set it up in the way that she set up hers, but I did like her, I did like the approach she took with removing her January and February monthly pages, so that she just has all of these notes pages in the front. I think that makes a lot of sense if you are going into a planner like and a few months have passed by. So I don't need to keep these. I can discard these. I'm putting my notes here so that I can remember where my labels will go. Yeah, that made a lot of sense. And now I have all these extra pages in the front. So, okay, so your question is, what am I going to do with these pages? Let's set it up. What I want to do is have a header on each page, or not each page, but I need 5 areas in the annual portion of this workbook, because I need to plan my goals for the 3 months, my strategy for the 3 months. Remember, this is about my history rooted business, my strategy for the 3 months. And then each month I have a focus on what I need to focus on working on for that month. So the first 30 days, because this is like a 90-day plan. So the first 30 days is like building the authority, because I am doing a consulting business, a workshop business, a genealogy business. I have a lot of experience, a lot of education around it. So I need to continue to build that authority. That is the focus for the first 30 days. The next 30 days is building my genealogy community. So establishing yourself as an authority figure in that space, and then continuing to build that community. And then the last 90 days is really building a framework for continued success. Looking at what you did the prior 90 days, 60 to 90 days, making a decision on how you want to move forward, and building a framework if you decide to continue with the business, building a framework to keep it sustainable. That is the process that I'm following. So I think I may leave this particular page as blank. I want to make sure I have enough pages, because I need 5 sections. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then I'll still have some more. Okay, great. So I will leave this particular page, I believe I'm going to leave this page as blank. Might do a vision board or something there. And then I'm just going to come in and put my headers. Right, so now that I've explained this should go pretty quick, because I'm just setting this up. And I don't have to do all that ruler stuff with these other pages, because they print it correctly. But I'm just doing a label for each page, and notice I am trying to keep that same font, right? Because I'm kind of going for that, college lab book approach. And so I'm using this really cute typewriter type font to give you that kind of old school 19, well, I'm not gonna date myself, but let's just say old school college feel. So goals and strategy, I'm putting these in order. My goals pages are first, my strategy page is next, and then this is going to be the first 30-day focus, which is building authority. And I know these are going to be crooked because I couldn't get them to cut together, but that's okay. I won't stress about it. Like I said, it's kind of supposed to be imperfect, a little analog-y. If you ever typed anything on a typewriter, I am old enough to have typed essays and research papers on a typewriter. When I went to college, I did not go to college with a laptop. That may surprise a lot of people, especially young people if you watch this. But no, I did not have a laptop when I went to college. I had a typewriter. That is what my mom and my dad sent me to college with. A typewriter. So now it was an electric typewriter. I don't know if y'all remember those. Y'all remember those electric typewriters? You were doing something if you had an electric typewriter though. And I'll never forget. We went up, I think we went to was it Sears? It may have been Sears. Might have been it wasn't Circuit City. Circuit City doesn't exist anymore. I'm talking old school people who remember these stores. But it was some store. Service Merchandise. That's what it was. And I know y'all don't know that store. That may be like a Southern store. It's not in business anymore. But there was a store that sold it sold everything. It wasn't like Walmart. It sold think of Best Buy now, right? But if Best Buy sold furniture. Think of it like that. So anyway, we went to Service Merchandise, and my mom and my dad, they did the best they could, because some people did have computers, guys. I want to be clear. It's not that I went to school in a time where personal computers weren't a big deal. Laptops were definitely not a big deal, though. I don't know anybody who had a laptop. And I went to a school where people were very wealthy. Not me, but if it was to be had, they had the money to have it. That's the type of school I went to. But people didn't really have laptops back then. But most people did have a personal computer. I just was so poor, we couldn't afford that. So my parents, they did the best they can. God bless their soul. And I obviously I'm still talking about this in my late 40s. So you can tell how much I actually appreciated it. Because I used that typewriter, but what we could afford was an electric typewriter. And so we went to Service Merchandise. My parents bought me a nice electric typewriter, and that was a serious upgrade from the original typewriters. It was great. I wrote whole essays and research papers on that typewriter. But if you know anything about typewriters, the point I was trying to make is, that even though you were typing on one line, at the end of the day, you always had some letters a little bit above the line, a little bit off the line. It was never perfectly straight. So I like this kind of analog, old school type look and feel here. But anyway, so this is the annual section. And now on each section, what I want to focus on when I do my planning in here is each section needs to have specific actions that I accomplished in that section, milestones. That is things I need to check off to make sure that I have accomplished or that I'm working toward those actions and those goals. And then success measures. That's something people forget all the time. But what does success look like for you? And then any notes that you want to put in. I'm thinking, do I need to list this in my goals section note though? Because I'm going to be listing my actual goals here. So I'm going to hold off on goals. I don't know if I need to put key actions and stuff in there, but I definitely need to put it under my strategy, my building authority, and things on the other ones for sure. I think my goals, I just need to list my goals. So we're going to do key actions. I think I'm going to leave space to put a little bit of a note here. So we're going to do key actions, and then we're going to do milestones. And I have like 2 pages to work with, so I don't want to squeeze all this stuff in and don't give myself enough room. But I have 5, well, is it 5 or 4? 4 things that I want to put. So I think I'm going to do key actions and then milestones here. Oops. That kind of folded in on itself here. Let's see if I can pick this up a little bit. Yeah. Milestones here. And then over here, I'll do success measures and notes. Let's talk about success measures, because that's really important, actually. If you guys, let's see, 1, 2, 3, wait, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's on the 5th one. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Oh, well, no, because I don't need to waste this space up here. So I'm going to do success measures here on the first one. Well, it bothers me, I think, to be a little bit off, but that's okay. I probably should have just gone ahead and put key actions on the first one and it wouldn't bother me, but that's okay. It'll be okay. Okay, so notes. Oh, success measures. This is what I was going to talk about. So I think I'll put notes here, though. I do want notes to kind of line up. Let's see. Well, as line up as close as I can. This is going to be off, I know. Okay, so what are success measures? You guys, when you have like goals or things that you need to do, it's one thing to make a list, especially if you're doing like strategy planning, right? Did I say 4 down? You know what? I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yeah, 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's on the 5th one. Especially if you're doing strategy planning for something. It's really important to have milestones, and it's really important to know what success looks like. Because if you don't know what success looks like, how do you know that you have fully accomplished that, whatever it is, that goal, that task? It's not just about getting it done. It's about what does success really look like to you. That's just something that's really important. And I think in the personal space, right, like outside of the business space, that this is something people forget to track. In the business world, you have to, because you can't just think about that. You can't show up to your annual review and say, well, yeah, I think I did a great job. Well, okay, I think, everybody thinks they did a great job. The question is, what do you have to show that you did a great job, right? So in the business world, I think that one may be a little bit off. Yeah, it is. Let's see if I can lift it up. In the business world, you have to track measurement, your success measurement. And I think, like in our personal lives, we just forget to do that. We don't know. Maybe some people don't know. I don't know. But I'm here to share with you how important it is. You need to have some measurement for success. What does success mean to you? What does it look like? Right? It just can't be, oh, I did this, so I'm successful. No. Guys, we gotta think a little bit more strategic. And again, especially if you are planning something like launching a business or anything that is strategic in nature, right? Like, I'll give you just a real life example, right? We all talk about how we want to exercise more, be more active. Okay, that's great. We could be more active, but what are you going to look at to determine that you were successful at that? Are you going to say, okay, if I lose 10 pounds over the next 3 months, that meant I successfully accomplished that goal? That's a success measure, right? I think sometimes we also list the measurement of success as a goal, and we switch that around, and we shouldn't. The losing of the 10 pounds, That's not really, or shouldn't really be, the goal. That's really your proof of success. Your goal is probably something else. It's probably, changing your nutrition or eating certain things versus what you were eating, or drinking more water, or working out a certain amount of times per month or week. That's a goal. The measurement of success is, if you hit this mark, that, what does that mean? Does that mean you're successful or not? And that's where your, like, your totals, like your weight loss or your waist size or something like that, comes into play. So I just think in the non-business world, we often tend to lose sight of that, is what I'm saying. And we don't have success measures listed here. But that's just a super important thing. I feel like I've talked a lot about that, but that's what the point of this video is, to talk about how I'm setting up this planner. Because this planner is focused on relaunching a business, it's really important for me to know, or to have some measurements of success here, right? If I'm going to, say, offer more consulting sessions, okay, how will I know if that activity was successful? Is it just me offering a session? No. Is it how many people sign up for a session? Probably. Okay, well, do I need 1,000 people to sign up for me to say that activity was successful? Do I need one person to sign up for me to say that activity or that goal was successful? Like, what is the measurement of success for you? That's why that's so important. It is bothering me that this is not lined up, but I think I'm just going to let it ride. I'm going to let it ride, y'all, because I wanted to be able to put some type of writing or notes here, and that's why I did that. Anyway, but we'll let that go. So anyway, when I set this up, because each of these titles is tied to like a 30-day period, not quite a month, but just a 30-day period. Within that 30-day period, there are certain things that I want to do, and there are certain measurements of success that will let me know if I was successful for that period. So what will success look like for me when it comes to building a framework for History Rooted? That's how this works. What will success look like for me when it comes to building a community, when it comes to building authority? This is more about just building out my strategy. What will success look like if I have an effective strategy? I don't know if I'm going to do that with goals. I think I might just list my goals. That's why I left that one blank. And then I have some blank pages that I can use for whatever I want for the back. Okay, so now in the month, so that's all of my annual pages. So that's done. And I have some extra space in case I want to put those labels in the goals section, but I don't know if I do. So now in the monthlies, I need to set up each month. And each month I am going to do the same, follow the same process, basically. In the monthly, you have a monthly dashboard and you have blank pages. And I know how I want to label the blank pages for each month. I have made those labels. I've printed them here. I've used the same theme as a college lab class. So each month, the focus areas for the month are assignments, and they repeat, right? So it's like my action plan, my content tracker, my community building. Those are pages that I'm going to track in the month or reflect on or plan in the month. Those are actually called assignments. And so it's just kind of keeping the theme together. That's the whole point here. So that's what you see here. And then you also see, I have put a couple of motivational scripts at the bottom. I probably won't put those in today. That's just for me to place throughout my planner if I need them. Just little motivational statements, like this says balance productivity, which is kind of what I'm trying to accomplish here. And then I have the year in that same typewriter font and a minimal font in case I wanted to use it. And then the next thing I'm going to use, you're going to see me use in my monthly, are these icons. These are going to go on my dashboard to highlight what these areas mean. And then I have some strip labels that I made for my content tracking. So let's start with the icons. I just kind of made these icons. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm going to do... I just made these icons in a very muted font, and I have a video, I have a video icon for my video content planning. I have a computer icon for my workshop planning and tracking. I have a pen icon for my learning and reflection. I have a chat bubble icon for my this section is tracking my engagement metrics, and then I have revenue tracking, which is going to be halfway down, and that is going to be obviously tracking my sales and revenue. And so I could take those off. I am going to set that up for the next 3 months in every single month. And I went with the icon approach here instead of a full label because I feel like I want to cover that up, but we'll see. I just thought the icons were very straightforward and simple, and I didn't want too many words on here. So I did that for March. I'm going to do the same thing for April really quick. This should be quick. Video, workshop, reflection, engagement metric, and revenue metric. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing for May. Because again, I'm doing a 90-day, kind of a 90-day focus. And, you know, if this works out well, I will probably continue. Yeah, if this works out well, I will probably continue this workbook past 90 days. But for right now, we're doing a 90-day focus. So let's go back into March. And we are going to set up doing this the same way as I did the annuals. I'm just going to take the labels for each section. And we're going to go ahead and set this up. I think I want to put my labels. Do I want to put it over here? I think I want to put it, yeah, over here. Oops. Just trying to get it as straight as I can. Again, knowing it's not going to be perfect. Community building. Wait, content tracker and community building. So assignments. I try my best to get these to print, to cut, you know, all as one, but you know, like I said, sometimes Cricut has a mind of their own. Community building. Okay. Again, come on, try to go. This is a long one, so trying to get it. Okay. That's the best I can do on that one. Community building, and then video planning. Some sections you'll notice have, I think I'm just going to do in this video 1 month to shorten the video, and then off camera I'll do all the other months, because you've kind of seen what it looks like So I don't think you need to see me do every single month like this. But I will be doing this same process in every month, basically. Okay. And then I think I was saying some of these pages have 2 pages dedicated to them and some have 1. And I decided that, wait a minute. Video content, why do I have 2 things here? Video content, workshop consulting. Oh, okay, because that's a different name. I decided on how many pages per topic based on, you know, how much planning I have to do around that topic. So for example, when I'm planning my workshops and my consulting, I do a lot of brainstorming. A lot of brainstorming. And so it's kind of important to have the extra page versus when I'm just tracking a video that I've already, you know, created. I don't need 2 pages to track a video. I'm not publishing that many videos per week or month. I just really need 1 page to do that. But when I'm planning videos, I need 2 pages, right? So, okay. So like, for example, content tracker, I don't need 2 pages for my content tracker. I just need 1. So this one is product development. Great. It came off all as 1. Love that. And hopefully I can get this off without tearing it. Okay, product development, and then monthly reflection. Okay, so I have that set up for March, and then the next thing I want to do is for my content tracker. This is going to be interesting. See how this works. I am going to put these strips in here to track content that I need to post for the month. And I have on here video name, outline, status, and post date. You can't see them that well because I have it in white font, and I was just kind of giving it a try for these 3 months. It may have been better to do black font. I don't know, but yeah, I think I'm going to do this up top. I think I'm going to do it right here. I went with the white font, so. Oh, okay. I might have to trim this off. I thought I measured this, but looks like I was a little bit off on the measurement. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay, y'all. We're going to keep it together. See if I can. Oh. Why is that crooked like that? Okay, let's see if I can get this on here straight, y'all. This is always my challenge, as you know. Okay, so I'll end up trimming some of that, but I could have probably moved this over just a little bit. Let me see. Can I get it up? Yeah. So I can get the post date on here. Let's try this again. I call myself measuring this. Okay, so. Okay, at least I can get most of the post date language on there. Okay, so, but like I said, that's okay. That's okay. we are rolling with it. Oops. So, oh, this one's measured a lot better. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my craft knife and trim this up off the side. Got to be careful that I don't actually cut the paper. So it's probably not going to be as clean of a cut as I normally would get, just because I'm really trying hard not to cut the actual paper. Yeah, I did okay on that. Didn't really cut anything. This one is still kind of off a little bit. Okay, yeah, anyway, I was saying I tried my best to measure this, but I did the best I could. And so then I'll trim it here. Okay, so then here, I'm just gonna use the rest of this like for notes. And I'll just use a highlighter down here to put notes if I need to. So that's how that looks. Okay, so let's flip through this particular month. And I'll show you what it looks like. And then I will finish the other month. I'll put you on pause and finish the other months on while you're on pause, and then I'll come back. Okay, so in the month of March, we have our calendar, which I will use for, the way you use a calendar. I have the dashboard where I have my icons here. I have my action plan, basically a to-do list. And then my content tracker page, my community building page, my video content planning page, my workshop and consulting planning page, my product development planning page, and then my reflection page, which is at the end of the month. So I am going to go through and set up the same things for April and May. And okay, guys, I'm back. Thanks for that pause. Sorry about the cut. Well, actually, I'm not sorry about the cut, y'all, because you know I do weird cuts all the time because I don't really edit my videos. So it is what it is. We just have to make this work. I did go ahead though and put in everything that I needed for each of the months. So we are going to flip through the months and how I set them up, and then we're going to move on to the Command Center planner. So keep in mind, this is for my actually, let's just flip through from the beginning, right, so that we can wrap this up completely. If I can get these pages set up. Okay, so this is for my History Rooted 101 Test Lab Workbook, which is basically the relaunch of my genealogy business and focusing on some new opportunities. I have an annual calendar here. I didn't do much to that. I do have this milestone section. I will probably do this by month at a certain point and just come in and use this kind of as a future focus type spot. And then I have two open lined pages, and I can do whatever I want here. I may do a vision board or something like that. But what I did today is set up my functional pages. I set up my goals pages. This is where I will come in and list my goals. Right now I have a 90-day relaunch focus. So my goals will be concentrated on 90 days. I do have my strategy page. That's where I'm going to plan out my strategy for this business and just stay focused on that. And then my building authority is my first 30 days, and all my actions within that first 30 days is about building authority for my genealogy business. The next 60 days, I transfer into building the community a little bit more. So I have key actions, milestones, and success measures for each of those areas. And then the last 90 days is about evaluating everything I did in the first 90 days. Or I should say the last 30 days is about evaluating everything that I did for the business, with the business, and to see if it's a viable option and something I need to continue working on beyond 90 days. If I do, this is my building framework time where I build out a sustainable plan for post 90 days. And then I have some open pages in the back of the front. I created this front section by tearing out the January and February tabs. I got that idea from another YouTuber, and it worked beautifully. So my planner is going to start in March, which is the current month. I'm not going to do much decorating, if any decorating at all, on my monthly. This is just going to be keeping track of my activities for this 90 days. The dashboard, I am using icons to try. I'll probably use a highlighter as well to track certain areas on my dashboard. Those areas are my video content, my workshop planning, a engagement tracking, and my revenue tracking, and then a spot for reflections. That's what that is. Each page also has a label, assignment, action planning. I went with the assignment approach because it matches the whole look and feel, which is kind of like a college course lab book. So I'm using the assignment language to carry that theme. So in the first month, one of the first pages in each month is my content tracker. That is where I track the video, whether or not I've done the outline, what the status of that video is, and what the post date is. And then I do the same thing for my workshop. Workshops are a little different. I don't post 2 or 3 workshops per week or month, but I work on the workshops throughout the month. So you have to write content, a lot of content. It's like developing an e-learn. If you've ever taken an e-learning course or an online course, that's what a workshop is. It's a lot of work that goes into developing it. So it's everything from outlining it to actually getting the content together, building it. It's a lot that you have to do. So you need to track that over a period of time. So that's what that workshop tab is about. And I moved this down from when you first saw it because I had it up here at the top. I think I'm going to put my notes at the top, and I like the tracking at the bottom a little bit better. So then we have community building, video content, workshop and consulting, product development, reflection. And then in April, it's just set up the same way. Everything is the same strips, except I have a different image as the background for the strips. May is set up the same. Have my icons, have my labels, same strips, just a different image. And we are good to go. And obviously, if this turns into a successful test, then I will continue with History Rooted past the 90 days. If the test says that it's not worth it to continue it, then I won't. But that is the purpose of that workbook, to figure that out. Okay, so let's do a quick setup. This one should be a little quicker because I've already explained to you how the process works. Because the process for the what I'm calling my life blueprint workbook, planner, whatever, notebook, but the title of it is the 2026 Life Blueprint. The structure is going to be the same as genealogy, but the focus is different, right? So this is, again, about my emotional well-being. You see my categories are stability, balance, growth. Very different from business. But the sections within those categories are the same because you really do the same thing. It's just your focus is different. So I don't have to kind of explain what we're doing. I don't have to explain that again. So I'm just going to come in and start setting this up. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to roll with this. I'm not going to do the ruler trick because that was just too much. And you know what? I don't care. about it being straight that much. I got that trick from another YouTuber a while ago, and I just have to say, I don't care enough to deal with that. Life isn't straight, okay? Things in life are not perfect. We got to get used to that, y'all. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? And I think that came out better than when I was fooling with that ruler. But anyway, so the title of this planner is 2026 Life Blueprint. I love how colorful this is, right? Love that. Same thing, I'm going to use this for some type of future forward looking thinking thing. But I am going to take out my January, just like I did with my work, my genealogy one. I'm going to take this out. Okay, well, here we go. And then I'm going to take out my February pages. This almost makes me want to cry. I hate tearing stuff out of planners. I do, but it makes sense to use these pages. So then we're going to go ahead and set up my annual pages. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to have an open page here. And then we're going to set up my my sections. You notice the font is a little bit different, right? This one is not as heavily themed as my work planner. So it's not work. It is work, but I don't want to call it work planner because I have a work planner. This is not as heavily themed as my genealogy relaunch planner. But what I will say to you is I chose fonts that make me feel good. These are my preferred fonts. The fonts I used for the genealogy planner, I used those because I was definitely going with a very specific theme. But my preferred fonts are very minimal, like what you see here. And I wanted to choose fonts for this. Notice that one's not straight, but that's okay. I wanted to choose fonts. Let me see, which one do I want? Stability, balance, and growth. Yeah, I wanted to choose the fonts that made me feel good for this life blueprint planner. When I open this planner, I should be smiling. Everything about this workbook, well, this is just a planner, so everything about this planner should make me smile. It should make me feel good. I should feel no stress, no anxiety when I come into this planner. This is why I'm creating a separate, you can call this a life planner, whatever you want, but it is hyper focused for the next 90 days. And like I said, I should feel nothing but good vibes coming in here. And this is why I wanted to keep it separate, because it's super important to me that I maintain those good vibes. Sometimes if something is going on, I'm going to use budget, for example. If you have a crisis in your budget, and let's be real, let's not be fake on this channel. There are times when we all have a crisis of budget. It happens, okay? It just does. We can act like it doesn't, but it 100% does. Oh, I need to put my tagline on that front page. I'll go back and do that in a minute. So then you get into your budget planner and you're like, oh, I don't even want to think about this. You know what I mean? Oh God, I don't want to think about my budget. And so you start to feel a certain way. How many people have felt like, I just don't want to get into that planner. I just don't want to work on that planner today. I just don't want to do any of that. Well, we all experience that. So this life blueprint planner is separate because I don't want any of those emotions ever attached to this particular planner. If I am struggling with my budget and I just know I overspent and I just don't want to get into that budget, well, then I can just leave that budget planner off to the side and it's not going to cause me stress. I don't want that here. So this is one of the big reasons that I determined I need to separate some things out of that regular planner. And if you've ever run into that, consider separating certain things out of your planner. Okay, let me pause for a minute and see where I want to put these labels, because last time I didn't like how they didn't line up. So I don't know if I'm not going to do goals again. Just like the other one, I'm not going to do goals. So let's start with strategy. This time I could put it up here and I think it'll look better if it matches, but I do still like that space. You know what? I'm going to put it down and I'm just going to do space on the other side. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm gonna do, y'all. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. And I can decorate up here. This planner is not intended to be highly decorated. It's not. And you know, it's not about decorating. This is about keeping my life together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's nothing for me to say about that. It is 100%. So I'm not going to do a ton of decorating. But having this extra space up here does allow me, if I want to put a little bit of a header, throw a flower up there, here or there, I can do that. So let's see if I can rearrange this strategy, because this is a little crooked. Just pull it down just a little bit. Yeah, okay, there we go. Didn't do much change, but that's okay. So it's not about decorating at all, but I do like that extra space up there. I also, okay, so back to feeling good when you come into your planner. That's just really important. And like I said, if you've ever experienced where you're just kind of running away from your planner, really stop and think about why you're doing that. Because I've experienced it. I definitely have. Especially, I will tell you, I experience it a lot with my budget planner. Because I'll go out and buy something, and then I'll be like, oh, Lord, I shouldn't have bought that. You know what I mean? And I will just avoid going in and entering the expense. I mean, I'm just telling the truth, you know. But not entering the expense don't mean I didn't spend it. But I'm just saying, you know, I don't need to be reminded of, like, where I failed on my savings challenge. I mean, that's not going to make me feel good. Right? I mean, I know, and people be like, well, everything in life is not about feeling good. Well, you know what? It should be. It should be. We don't need to be walking around feeling all depressed and mad because, you know, we overspent on that Starbucks. Life is still going to keep lifing, whether you overspent on Starbucks or not. Right? You know, you just got to figure out what you're going to do better next time. It's not the end of the world. Okay, that doesn't want to come up, so I'll leave that. So yeah, life should be about feeling good. Because there's nothing wrong with feeling good. So, but along those lines, sometimes you don't. And sometimes I avoid my planner because I know I did things I wasn't supposed to do. And I just can't have this planner be that. This has to be that place that I come in, and yeah, I do hold myself accountable here, but in a very positive way, in a way that doesn't get me down, in a way that if I don't come into this planner, it doesn't mean I'm behind on other things. Like, so if you've ever felt that, sometimes think about and consider, is there something that I need to maybe set apart on its own so that when I do feel those types of ways, it doesn't prevent me from doing other things? Think about that. But okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Along those lines as well, what I did want to say is about this font, because I was talking about that and I went off on a tangent. I chose my favorite fonts for this planner because, as I keep saying, I need to feel good when I come in here. I want to see my favorite font. I want to see my favorite colors. I want to see my favorite stickers. I don't want anything in this blueprint that doesn't serve me. So the fonts you see here are the fonts that I'm currently obsessed with. They're clean. They're minimal. They're easy to read. They make me feel accomplished. They make me feel modern. They make me feel good things. And I need that right now. I need that in my little life. All right, so we are going to go through and I'm going to set up, I'm trying to move my notes because I have all type of notes. I'm going to set up my monthlies like I did before. We are going to set up my icons because I have icons just like I had in my genealogy planner. And we're going to put this in here. What I will say is on my icons, I made these big by accident. So, you know, these are a lot bigger than the other one. But that's okay, y'all. That's okay. That is okay. I think they're cute. I think they're cute, even though they're much bigger. So, the first one is income situations. The next one is obligations. So that's like financial, like debts and things like that, mostly. So that's why that's a credit card there. This one is for affirmations. So this space is really for affirmations instead of reflections, but you can do both. And then we have financial focus here at the top. And then we're going to have emotional focus at the bottom. So very similar approach, right? Just focusing on different things. I think I kind of like the large icons though. So let me set this up for April. Just like I did before, we're going to go ahead and set these up. Yeah, I actually think I'm liking the larger icons. I can see them a lot better. I know what they are. So that appeals to me. Right? Yeah. Okay, icons. Yeah, I can definitely see these a lot better. So, definitely gives a little bit of a different vibe with the larger icons. Okay, so that looks good. Let me go ahead and march. Let's see, we have monthly tasks, wellness audit, financial reset, professional growth, and reflection and looking ahead. All right, so now I have those areas here. And we're going to set these up just like I did before. So, and I'm still going to use these, I think, on the edge. Again, going with my favorite fonts, you guys. This is one of my current favorite fonts. So this one isn't like as heavily themed as the genealogy planner. This is just, like I said, this is just, I have to feel good when I come in here. So I'm so excited about this. If you can't tell, I'm really excited about this workbook. And also by the length of this video, you can tell how long it is taking me to set these up. So this is one of the reasons why I'm about a week behind, because I knew that it was going to take a little bit of time to set these up. And so I just, you know, I didn't have time last week with work and stuff to dedicate, you know, the 2 hours to get this done. So reflection. Now this one, I will say, looking ahead. Okay. I forgot what I was about to say. Totally forgot what I was about to say on that. But what I'm going to say now is, yeah, this planner is a lot more casual than that work planner. That work planner It's very, very, very intentional. I feel good about it. I feel good about it, but it is very intentional. Okay, this looks amazing. So this is gonna put these off to the side here. My wellness audit. These are just notes for when I start using it, right? What I want to put, what I want to focus on in each section. Guys, because I'm at the point where I need notes for like everything. So just putting on there so I don't lose them. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to put you on pause, and then I'm going to fill out the other months, and then we're going to come back and do a quick flip through. I love the way this looks, so clean and straightforward. I love this font. I love this font better than the other font, but I'm also on that other font for a very specific reason. So I love them both, but this is the reason I went with this font is because this is the font that I would go with for the rest of the year, because I love it that much. Let me put you on pause, and I'm going to finish out the rest of the month. Okay, guys, I'm back, and I have finished setting up this planner. I am in love with this Life Blueprint planner. I cannot tell you how in love I am with it. I am so excited to use this. But let's do a quick flip through of everything that's set up, and I will walk you through how I'm going to use each page quickly, because this is a long video. But I've enjoyed spending this time with you. So cover page, I went in and added my tagline for this planner, which is Balance by Design. Balance is my word of the year. But even beyond my word of the year, that is always my goal, having a balanced life, work-life balance, fun, health, emotional, physical wellness balance. It's just something that I strive for in my life, and I'm not great at reaching for it. I'm not great at attaining it. So Balance by Design is my tagline. Going into this planner, the annual pages are here, annual calendar. I'll use them as I see fit. I will probably use this for future planning and do this by month. That's how I think I'm going to use it, but you never know. And then I have 2 pages, blank lined pages. I'll probably use that for vision boarding. Then I get into the pages that I labeled in the front of the planner. I created these labels. They're just blank notes pages, which I created the blank notes pages by pulling out the January and February calendars, because I'm starting this planner in March. So I have a goals page. I will write my goals. This is a very focused goals page, only for the next 90 days. And then I have a strategy page, again, very focused for the next 90 days. Let me pause here and say, you may be thinking, well, what are you doing a goals and strategy for if it's a life planner? I am doing goals and strategies to help manage and track my emotional, my physical, and my financial well-being. That is what this planner is intended to do, hands down, especially managing my stress. And so there are some very specific things happening in other areas of my life, such as with my work and my small business, that is going to push me to the limit in all 3 of those areas. And this is hopefully going to help me come in, reflect, and stay on top of those areas, to kind of have one central spot where I can really dig into it a little bit more. That is what the goals and strategy is. So it is a 90-day plan. It goes along with my genealogy planner, right? Which is a 90-day relaunch plan. That's why I set this for 90 days. So for the first 30 days of those 90 days, I need to focus on being stable, getting to a point where stability is happening everywhere across all of those areas that I told you about: mental, emotional, physical, financial, all of that. I need to be stable. So that's my focus in the first 30 days. After that, it's getting balance. So you got everything stabilized. Now you're focused on making sure that your balance is right. Are you always concerned about your financial well-being and you're not really considering your physical health? Or are you only focused on your physical health and your financial well-being is slipping to the wayside? Balance is what you want to kind of focus on, or what I want to focus on in my second set of 30 days. And then growth. Once you get it balanced, what's your plan for continuing to grow, to be sustainable afterward? How can you grow in some of those areas? So that's what the final 30 days is about. So you see how this kind of goes along with what I'm doing with genealogy, but I'm doing it for a personal focus. That's what's happening here. And then I have some extra days here. These are all my notes that I need to reference when I fill this in. That won't stay there. So the first month is March. We'll probably not decorate this monthly at all. In this particular planner, I may not even use this monthly that much, but I will use the monthly layouts. I have icons on the dashboard that tell me what I need to track and what I need to focus on for that month. They are basically an income snapshot, my obligation snapshot, which is financial and other obligations, my self-affirmation, self-love area. I also have a well-being, like an emotional focus area, and a specific financial focus area. And then each page in the month, I am going to focus on my to-do list for that month. I'm calling that actions. My wellness audit, that's where I come in and I reflect on my wellness. How am I doing? What do I need to focus on that month? Where am I slipping? What am I doing well? It is an audit of my wellness activities. My financial reset, it is an audit of my financial activities. It is not my budget. My budget is in a budget planner. It is not my budget. It is, what are you doing for your financial reset in your life? Think about things like retirement planning. What are you looking, it's like future forward thinking, and what are you doing today to make that happen? Where your budget is really very much an in the moment type thing, this is definitely more of looking at your financial life as a whole and just kind of doing an audit of that and what can you be doing better. What I decide in this space may impact how I do my budget. What I decide in this space may impact what I do in my weekly planning, right? Like that's how this works. It's not intended to be a duplication of work I'm doing in other planners. This is supposed to be, this is really the planner that sits over everything, right? Based on how I'm feeling and how successful I am in these areas will determine what goes into my weekly and monthly planning. Another example of that is professional growth. This is all about what do I need to do in my professional and work life? Is there something I need to learn? Are there trainings that I need to go to? Do I need to improve my professional brand? Do I need to do more work on LinkedIn? Where do I want to go in my professional life? Unfortunately, I came up during a generation where the time of a pension disappeared. It's no longer you work 20 years in most jobs. You work 20 years and you can retire and that company's going to pay you for the rest of your life. The whole GM model from the 60s and 70s doesn't exist anymore, right? That IBM model from the 60s and 70s doesn't exist anymore. If you work for the military, yes. If you work in the government, some government jobs do that, but most private corporations, they don't offer pensions and things like that anymore. So you have to do things in your professional life to make sure that you're going to have a sustainable life when you're ready to retire. You have to make your own retirement, right? And so I'm at that point where those things are forefront in my mind. And so figuring out what I need to do from a professional point to help me be better prepared for retirement is really, really critical and important to me. So how this is going may determine the actions that I put in my monthly and weekly planner. My reflection is where I come in and I reflect for the month. And then looking ahead is kind of, okay, what do I need to focus on next month? And so each month is set up like that. I have my icons, I have my actions, my wellness audit, financial reset, professional growth, reflection, looking ahead. Same thing. I've only set this up for 3 months. And I will probably use this for the rest of the year if I'm honest with you, but I tend to set things up per quarter. So I'm only set this up for 3 months right now. But that is how this is set up. I am totally in love with this particular planner. I am going to put my notes back in here because I do need to now come in and fill this out. And that's going to be a whole thing in itself. But like I said before, we are not going to fill this out together because I am actually not going to be filming the content of this planner, but I did want to do this video and film the setup of this planner and also of my genealogy planner. They are now fully set up. I am thrilled with both of these. I can't wait to start using them. And I thank you so much for sticking with me. This is a very long video. And I just encourage you to think about your planning, and if something's really bothering you, I don't want to say create another planner, because by doing this, I've actually taken planners out of my system. Because if you've been watching my videos, you know I am removing my work planner. I removed my budget planner, and I'm actually streamlining and simplifying. But what I will say to you is, regardless, especially if you film content, I don't care what you have to film. Figure out what you need to plan to make your life work for you. And if you need to do that off camera, do it off camera. If you need to just do a notebook and make a list, do a notebook and make a list. Do whatever you need to do to make your planning serve you instead of you serving your planner, right? Like, that's what this is about for me. These are the things that I need to serve me, and it needs to be private for me at this time. So that's what I'm doing. So I encourage you guys to do whatever it takes to get yourself into a place where you need to be. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a happy week planning.